So my name is Linda Jensen, and I'm doing a class on finding joy in your journey. A little bit about me. There's some details up here, but I'm one of 9 kids. I'm a twin. I'm on the Vibrant Living Academy Executive Board as their social media person, and I currently work in special education at the high school in a post-high class as an aide. And I'm engaged. I have 2 kids. One's mine and one will be mine. So I get a bonus child. Mm-hmm. And I do a lot of volunteering in the community. And I love the Vibrant Living Academy and everything that is a part of it. So today we're going to do a class on finding joy in your journey. And in the world we live in and everything going on, it's easy to get discouraged or to have a hard time finding that light. And so as I was trying to think about what could I add, what gifts I could share with the world, I wanted to bring the message of joy. And the first thing I want to talk to you about is the difference between joy and happiness. A lot of times those words are used like the same word, but really there's a deeper meaning to joy. So here's some differences. So think of happiness as something that comes from external sources. So that's going to be like someone giving you a gift or you earning an award, something that comes from the outside. But true joy comes from within us. And it's not something that happens to us. It's a way we live and a way we approach things. And that's how you can kind of distinguish the two. And that's why we're going to focus on joy rather than just happiness in general, because joy is longer lasting and it will stay with you more. And no matter what happens to you, if you come to life with a joyful attitude, then you're going to be more successful. You're going to have more joy and happiness in your life, and you're going to enjoy your life more. So I want you guys to tell me some reasons why you think joy is important to you.
Because it's good to be happy.
Right? Makes us feel good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When I feel better and happy, so it would be like more joy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely better to people around me, my kids, my spouse.
Yes.
Yeah, I treat people better. I'm just better.
Mm-hmm.
I find that I'm healthier when I have more joy in my life. So
I didn't really think about joy and happiness. I mean, it's true though. It's very true. So, yeah.
So, I want to talk a little bit about my personal journey to joy. And so, I've had lots of challenging things in my life. So I'm one of the biggest challenges I faced that I really tested my joy was when I became a widow about 3 years ago. And so what really kind of got me thinking about this is I was helping my mom this summer, and she had to talk at a meeting about joy. And so I helped her come up with this list of ways you could be joyful. And in the process, I kind of discovered something. For me, and I don't know that, I'm hoping I can teach you a little bit about joy today. Just because of how I was raised, I always had joy in my life, and I kind of took that for granted. I was raised with a strong sense of self and a strong sense of wanting to have happiness in my life. And so in the midst of hard things, I've been able to survive and even thrive despite my challenges. When if you look at the world, often they're barely surviving and barely getting by. And I wondered why that was. And it came down to this joy, that I had that at the base in my soul. And some people didn't. They didn't have that light. They didn't have that knowledge. And so I'm hoping to give you some of that knowledge today. So we're going to go over, and I know it seems like a lot, but if you have personal experiences, please add 20 ways that you could add joy in your life now. Now, all of these will resonate with you, and they may not be your way to joy, but I thought of different ways that we could have joy in our lives. Okay. This is actually our founder right here, Stacy, and her little girls. And so, I saw that and I was like, it's so true. We all deserve to have joy. So the first thing I had to realize is that my joy was up to me. It's not upon anybody else to make me happy, to make me have joy. And so if you really want to have it in your life, you cannot rely on other people for it, because they can't be your source of joy. They might bring you joy or happiness for a time, but that real source of joy is going to come from within you. When I was working as a volunteer, one of the questions, we had to do these monthly questionnaires, and one of the questions was, is there anything I can do to make your life more happy, is what the questionnaire said. And every month I would write, I have everything within me to find and make my own happiness. And when I finished my my term with her, it was a volunteer for 3 years with the America Vista program. She's like, that always kind of stuck with me, that it took she saw it every month I put the same thing on there, and she's like, it took a while to sink in, but how true that is that we have it within us to find this. Next, okay, it's easy to play the what if game. So this one is find joy where you're at in life. It's easy to say, when I'm 10 pounds lighter, when I go on this trip, if I just got this promotion. We're always looking at that next thing and not focusing on where we're at and the things we can find happiness in now. And in doing so, we lose out on happiness every day. Mm-hmm. And so I challenge you to find reasons to be happy with where you're at now. And I work with a lot of people who are younger than me, so I try to give them advice sometimes. And what I tell them is, if where you're heading is where you want to go, then your path is perfect for you. So if you're on the path to your goals, then it's almost as good as you being there. You're working towards them. You can be happy that you're headed in the right direction, that you're on a path that works for you, that you can be joyful about that. It doesn't have to be perfect right now for you to have that joy and happiness. So Dietrich Uchtdorf says, sometimes in life we become so focused on the finish line that we fail to find the joy in our journey.
I had a neighbor that gave me last year for Christmas a Find Joy in Your Journey plaque. And I leave it up all year long, right in my kitchen, right where I can see it, because that has been a struggle for me to find joy in the journey of being a mother. And it kind of disappointed me, because I always had this high expectation that being a mother and a wife was going to be blissful, this fun fairy tale, and it kind of just didn't work out quite how I thought it was going to be. And so that's just a really good reminder to me, and it helps me to kind
There's
of just
a reason why
check
it's a little
back.
bit of a catchphrase, right?
Yeah.
So the next thing is that find things to do every day to bring you joy. Now, we're going to do an exercise at the end that's similar to this, but in our course, we did something called a joy list. I just like to make mine look pretty. There's just like typed out list or handwritten list, but you can make it however you want to make it look. And so in my joy list, and I put at the top, just obey your heart. That's what joy is obeying your heart. I put that I like to travel, go to the beach, I like to geocache, spend time with my family and friends, listen to music, help people, laugh, sing, giggle, spend time in nature, cook for people I love, riding a motorcycle, I like lagoon, I love the fall, laying under the stars, pedicures, massage here at the mall, connecting with friends, kissing, cuddling, moving my body, watching a show I like, reading a good book, and meditation. So these are things, I can't do them all in one day, but there are something on this list that I can do every day that'll bring me, whether it's 5 minutes or an hour, it will bring me a joy and it fills me back up. So in order to have joy, you have to be doing things to give yourself joy, right? To fill yourself, because when you run on empty, and we do a lot as moms, we run on empty, it's so important to replenish yourself. Okay, celebrate the wins. Okay, so as moms, or anybody, we make these checklists of all the things we've got to do that day. And And when we get to the end of the day, and we've done like 2 of them because life happens, we often like beat ourselves up, right?
Yeah.
We beat ourselves up rather than celebrate that our kids are fed. I mean, so there have been moments where things did not go as planned, and I normally am like a 5 o'clock dinner kind of mom. Dinner's on the table, ready to go, and I remember a few times where it's like 6 o'clock, dinner's not ready, and I was just like, I'm not sure we're gonna make, so we're having cereal for dinner. And like you beat yourself up for that. Like, I didn't make a home cooked meal. It's not healthy. Like whatever it is, we diminish ourselves rather than celebrate in my kids are fed. They actually think I'm a real good mom because I'm giving them cereal for dinner. Like, it's a win for them.
Yeah.
They're in a healthy, happy environment. They're loved. They're taken care of. And so I want you to find those ways that you can celebrate yourself in your life, because it's easy to make that list of things we didn't do rather than celebrate all the things that we're doing right every day to take care of them. Okay. So next thing I would challenge you is bring joy to others. Now that could look a lot of different ways. We can serve them. We can be a good friend. We can say hi to people. Like at school, they kind of tease me because I know the rule of school. So you make friends with the janitors, with the lunch lady, and the office staff. That's the rule of the school. Mm-hmm. And so when I go get lunch, it's like 50 cents for French fries on French fry day. I always bring my lunch, but on French fry day, I go and they like pile up a whole tray of French fries, and I go take them back to the class and we share them for 50 cents. And half the time they don't even charge me. They're like, they would never do that to me. I was like, I'm nice to them. I get to know their name. I talk to them. Mm-hmm. I find ways to recognize them in a position where they're just kind of a number. We have at any given time 2,000 kids at our high school, or 2,000 kids and adults. So it's easy to just be a number and have them not know you. But every morning and every time at lunch, I go to see them. I try to connect with them and say hi and be polite. And in return, they're nice to me. Mm-hmm. And then this is something I kind of read. I think it's easy when we start to talk with our friends. We talk about all the stuff that's plaguing us, all the stuff that's hurting us, all the stuff that's making us feel bad or we're not feeling good. And we wear these like badges of honor. I almost cut out pieces of paper with all these like things, like I'm tired, I'm stressed. And it's easy to get like complacent in what we do. How much different would our outlooks be if we talk to each other in ways that are like, you know what I did today? I went to the gym and it was great. Like I made a home cooked meal last night and the kids actually ate it. It was great. What if we talked about our wins the same way we talk about our losses? And in that way, we create this energy that's so much happier to be around. And it's not just like, it's not like a drain zone. It's not that you won't have hard times and you can't work through those things, because I think it's important to talk about those things and have somebody you can connect with those. But if we got in the habit of also celebrating us and celebrating our wins, we would have so much more joy and happiness in our life. Okay. The next thing you have to do is be open to joy, right? You have to, in order to get something out of serving, you have to be willing to feel those feelings. In order to enjoy the sun, you have to sit back, close your eyes, and just feel it, right? You have to be open to accepting it. And that takes an awareness to feel those things, to just enjoy those moments when you're with your little ones and when you're outside in the nature and you're doing things that make you happy. Take that moment just to be open to those feelings and let them penetrate your body. This kind of goes hand in hand. We get so busy doing everything, and they're good things. They're not bad things. You're helping your neighbor, you're watching your kids, you're doing homework, you are going to work, you're going to yoga, you went to your church, you know what I mean? There's so much we do that is good. But how often do we really slow down? I mean, could you spend an extra hour and not do that batch of laundry and get to it later? Could you... there's a number of things we can do to just take the pace back a little, or at least take yourself away for a weekend and cut yourself off from electronics and really take a step back and enjoy those people in your life and that surround you that really make you bring that kind of joy and happiness to you. Okay, this one's really important. In order to feel good, you have to take care of yourself. Body, heart, mind, and soul. And especially your body. If you are not energetically feeling your soul and your heart and that, it's going to be hard for you to be physically healthy. And having joy is one of the number one ways to feel good. Like, it can change people's health immensely just by having a positive attitude. I'm not saying it can't heal everything, because it can't, but it can make you feel so much better. If you have a negative attitude, it's going to be harder to feel well and feel better. Let's see. Ooh, one. Okay. So the other thing you got to do is you have to make it a habit. So you have to work on it. It's something I've been working on a long time, and I am by no means perfect at having joy a habit. And so it's like when you when you pray for patience, usually you get some experiences that try to test your patience, right? I need more patience. Please help me with that. Right? Like, I am trying to prepare this lesson, right? On joy. I'm like, I've had lots of experience, I think I can do good. Oh, it was like on the ground sobbing this morning. And it's just been a rough couple of days. Like on Monday I went to go put together the rest of my PowerPoint. I'm like, I'm not feeling very joyful right now. I'm not going to work on this. I need to go do something to get myself joyful. And at the end of this, I'm going to talk to you about a process I really had to own and use this morning to get my joy back, because it took a little work. So start working on it. This is so important. Never take away somebody else's joy. Not that I think that you would do that, but I've just seen people are over there I just got married, and other people are on the side snickering they just they tend to tear people down, and not always to their face, but not in a good way. Or they say little snide things to them to make them not feel like it's bad to be joyful or something, and it's not. It's not bad to be happy at our circumstances. So regardless of what your feelings are about how they feel about it, it's happy to them. Let them have their day. Let them have their happiness. And it's better to not say anything or do anything that would diminish that, because in diminishing that, you're diminishing your own light and the light of Christ. So, this is similar. Focus on the good. This is the talking with friends. We talked about that one. Okay, so true joy comes from the Savior, comes from Christ, and in the knowing that they're going to be there for us, so they're supporting us through all of this. So if you think about your joy in your life, it really comes from the light of Christ.
See, and with that, thinking of joy, I've always been taught Jesus first, others, and then yourself. And so I think that's important to really true find joy. It's how you need to take care of yourself before you can help others, but I think it's important that you look at it kind of differently.
Agreed. Okay. Okay, so I'm not saying we have to have perfect houses. My next one is organize your life. Part of the academy, we teach about setting up systems and structures in your life. And my house is not perfectly clean all the time. But how much better do we work, and how much better is the clutter in our head when we can clear way for things? I just cleaned my office, which is really actually my happy space, and got that, and my energy just kind of flowed. I couldn't even finish this PowerPoint or start it until that was done. I spent 4 hours, got that out of the way, and then it just came. So even having plans for joy, organize your life, plan ahead for things, schedule your joy, find time to do some organizing that make you feel less stressed. Because when you organize yourself, there's a saying, I don't know how to say this, but piss poor planning is, you have piss poor performance, basically. So there's a better way to say that has more light to it, I'm sure of it. But when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's more what I'm getting at. So if you don't plan ahead and plan for your own joy, you're not going and organize your joy, it'll be harder for you to find it. There will be moments that will bring it, but when you're planning for it, it's going to be easier for you. Okay. So this is important. So surround yourself with people who make you feel good. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. Surround yourself with people who fill your soul. I'm not saying you can avoid everyone who is like a joy suck. You can't. It's unfortunate, but maybe a little of your joy can rub off on them. And it's like that one bad apple spoils the bunch. Like, you can't let the negative around you affect your joy. All you can do is send out your joy and energy to them. But the more people you surround yourself with, like I have literally had to, and I think the next slide talks about this a little bit, cut away people from my life who weren't supportive. Let's go into the next one really quick because it's exactly. Never allow people who suck the joy out of your day. Or never allow people who suck to suck the joy out of your day. Mm-hmm. So it's okay to not be around people who don't bring you joy. It's okay to take a break from them. It's okay to cut them out of your life completely if you have to. And I've had to make some of those tough calls because they diminished and affected my light and my energy so much that I could not have them be a part of my life. And so don't be afraid if people are constantly draining you of your joy or at least your everyday happiness, to either cut ties or not have them around as much.
This is a good one for me because I find myself needing to fix everybody. You know what I mean? And so I surround myself with ones that are depressed or not happy or this to try to help them make them be happy. You know what I mean? But I can't make them be happy.
Right.
And then, I notice it does affect me if I keep on trying. And I'm like, I just have to use it like a grain of salt. Just like try to, give them advice or whatever, but move on. Not worry about their life so much. Just mine. You know what I mean?
They need, no, absolutely.
I have a hard time with that because I want to save everybody. I want to help everybody be happy.
I've known my whole life that I was supposed to help people.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what that looked like, but everything I've ever done for jobs or work, I'm helping people.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until recently that I'm like, you're supposed to heal people. As I've got this new knowledge and new information that I can kind of lean to that. But you have to know that you cannot help and heal everyone.
No.
You can be an example to them by being a good friend. You can create a safe space for them to feel like they can feel your light and love and joy. But you can't help them all as much. Like, it's like, you have information to help. And I know that you felt like that with family. Like, you can help them. But they have to want it for themselves. Yeah. And they have to get to the point where they're ready to accept it or it won't ever work. Hey, cutie.
She's okay.
You're so happy. Oh, is that fun? Oh, thank you. Thank you. And that leads right into the next one. We just talked about it. Be an example of joy. Be an example of, like, you can go through hard things and you can be single mom, you could be a busy mom and still have happiness and joy in your life. There's nothing but you stopping you from that. And you can go through those hard times and still have the ability to be happy. Okay. I'm just going to read this one below because I think it's good. So the feeling of gratitude leads to joy. And if you focus on the joy in your life, focus on all that you have and be grateful about it. When you're aware, plus being grateful of all the wonderful things in your life, it's easy to have joy. So make a list of all these amazing things and reflect on it regularly. This practice will help you realize all the good you already have in life, and in doing so, you'll be choosing joy. So I know a lot of friends of mine, they have a gratitude journal. So at the end of the day, they write about something they were grateful for that day. Because when you are focusing inward on all of the things that happened in your life that day, and you can come from a place of gratitude, when you start realizing what you're grateful for, you're going to realize how much you have, and you weren't focused on the negative things, the things you don't have.
Yeah, some of my friends like to do a grateful, like, first thing in the morning when they wake up, and it helps them start their day at a lot better, like a lot higher vibration, and they're able to get out of bed with a lot better outlook on life.
Yeah.
To just, even if you just sit in bed and you just kind of just touch base, and like, what is it I'm grateful for right now? And it just really helps you just start your day a lot better. In fact, our call this morning was all about gratitude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Glad we can be in sync here. Okay. Let joy be your guide. if you are doing things in your life that are not bringing you joy, and I am not talking about the dishes. If you are doing things in your life that are not making you happy, use that as a time to self-check. Use that as a time to self-regulate. Now, you have to look at the bigger picture of what brings you joy. So, because you can't look at sometimes the little things you're like, well, the laundry doesn't make me happy, can't do that. Would you be more unhappy that you didn't have clean clothes to wear? Like, clean clothes actually makes me happy.
Yeah.
Like, I like to wear clean clothes. So, I have to do necessary tasks and things in my life to support my joy. Like, a dirty house would make me anxious and stressed, so I keep up on my house. So, it's not the happiest thing ever, but you have to realize they add to your happiness goal. Whatever that is for you, your joy goal. But use other things you're doing in your life. Like, I found myself on a lot of committees this year because I have a certain skill set that lends itself well to committees. And they're all great. But come January, a couple of those committees are coming off my list because they're good and wonderful and I add value to what they do, but they take up too much of my time from what I really want to do, which is this academy. I want to really be a part of this. So do a self-check, cut away anything that's not adding joy, or if it's causing too much stress because you have too much to do, then there may be a few things you need to cut loose, even if they're good things. If it's not serving the higher good, use that joy as a self-check and compass.
Yeah, don't you think when you're doing those self-checks, I mean, to do them often, it's okay for it to be okay at this season of your life, but then there might be a season where it's like, if there's a shift that needs to take place, and so new changes come and go.
Yeah, absolutely. And it may be something you're open to later, or that would be
Yeah.
okay for you later.
Yeah.
But not right now. Okay, this one's my favorite. I'm glad we got littles here because you can kind of see it. Have childlike joy. And this is what I mean by that. So, my bonus child, he has this awe and wonderment still about him. He's 9. My 13-year-old, not as much. My 9-year-old, like, it's snowing! Like, so excited about things. Or like, look at this bug. I mean, they're so excited about the littlest things. And they have this astonishment and wonder and joy about life.
And like the Christmas lights that are up.
So that
Yeah.
when my 2-year-old's like,
Yes. And everyone else is just like,
Like, we become jaded by
Yeah.
like all these little things that
Yeah.
brought us joy. And
that was just today as we were getting ready to leave here. I have like 3 tiny little trees put up, like with some lights, and that's my oldest is like 3.5. Well, he'll turn 4 February, so older than that. But he's like in love, and we put in elf today, and even Kara can see. My husband got home, and he's like, "Dad, come watch, Santa's coming. He's gonna come and he's gonna get that little kid. There's his bag," and like he is all, and I'm
So
like,
cute.
"Oh, he is
Yes.
ready," but he was so
they
excited
find
about
joy.
that.
They get
and-
so happy about the simplest things,
Yeah,
don't they?
they do. And
Yeah.
as children,
It's
they're
so
constantly looking out for wonder and joy. They're
Mhm.
seeking it out. They're seeking out the happiness in life because they aren't jaded by things as we get older and all the responsibilities. So,
Again, I think it comes back to the little things. It doesn't care if you have all the money in the world. It doesn't care if you have a small house, or like what it comes down to is like being together and having that family unit, or having those friendships, or having someone that
And the joy.
yeah.
Just the joy in the little things.
yeah.
The childlike joy.
Yeah.
Oh, she popped it open.
Okay. So,
That's awesome.
this is kind of one I really want to kind of reflect on because the next part that we're going to do is this sheet that I'll handed out to you. But joy cometh in the morning. So in Psalms, and actually in the scriptures, it talks about joy all over the place. Specifically the word joy. And I didn't want to teach a sermon, but this in Psalms, it says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. So I don't want you to be afraid of life's pitfalls. I don't want you to be... it's okay to not be okay sometimes. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to be upset. Those feelings are not inherently bad and they're not sins. They have their place as like a self-check within us. And they're opportunities for us to learn and grow. And more than that, it's... The biggest thing is that when you're feeling them, you just can't set up camp and live there. You can't set up your tent and live in anger. You can't set up your tent and live in sadness or depression or anxiety. You can't do it because you're never going to find that joy and happiness. And also, we have a Savior who's here to comfort us. We just have to call upon him to help us. So, I don't know where the rest of that is.
And I think going through those, like you said, it's okay to go through those hard times and sad times and anxious, whatever. But you have to experience the low to have the high. You know, you have to. And then you can differentiate the two and know, okay, I don't want to be at this place. I need to do something for me that's going to make me be happy or help me pull out of this.
How are you,
You know.
going to appreciate the happy if you've never had the sad? How are you going to help other people through their hard times if you've never been through it yourself? Right? And it's not that you can't be empathetic towards them or try to connect with them, but how much greater can be your connection when you've been through those hard things yourself and you know what it's like to struggle and to not be happy. I don't know what happened to the rest of this image, but part of it's gone. But basically, it comes down to we have to choose joy every day. Okay, so this next concept. This one's super important, and it was the most exciting thing I wanted to share because I have not seen this anywhere. And where I learned it from, he's like, you won't find it in a book because I haven't written it yet. So, a counselor, through my grief process, I've gone through several conferences, and his name's Dr. Kent Allen, and he's based in Utah, and he came up with this process to get us to chase away the darkness. And he goes, it came to me, like, I remember when I was little and I was scared and I was sad that I would call for my mom. And when I saw that light in the hall, I knew it was going to be okay. And it chased away my darkness. And through his learnings, he came up with this way to get rid of the darkness, okay? I will try to do it justice, but it was so profound, and I really had to put it to work this morning because it was a struggle. So I want you to look at this graph, and this is on your sheet right here, and the 6 steps to chase away the darkness is on your sheet. Okay, so you can go home and you can remember and learn. If you want to write anything down, you can. So I want you to think about this. You can have 8,000 happy moments in a row. And if you have one hard moment, one trigger, one sad moment, one moment of anger, it takes you from happy and joyful clear to this negative space. And the negative is 7 times more powerful than the happy ones. And you have to have 7 happy moments to replace that one sad, joyful moments. It is that powerful. And if you really think about it, it's the adversary, and he's good at his job, unfortunately. But we can't let him. And there's a way we can get out of his darkness, right? So the first things you have to do is recognize, look within yourself that you are not happy, that you are in a sad spot, that you are angry, that you are frustrated. Look within yourself, because that self-check is super important to knowing how to fix what's going on. And I mentioned this earlier, that bad feelings are not a sin. Step 2